Bertemu kembali di Bisnes Alternatif. Saya bersama dengan Christopher Raj, seorang CEO Cekina PR, yang mana kita bercakap tentang masa depan serta industri perhubungan awam, terutama dalam bidang sukan di Malaysia. So what are the challenges that you guys usually face?
I think for us it is always about, I make it a point, and I always tell my staff and my consultants, we always do the very best that we can. It's very important for us to understand the industry, to understand the client's need. So we spend a lot of time talking to our client because we really want to understand if you're doing something, why you're doing it, and the reason behind doing it. We don't do things for the sake of doing it. That first thing I will never do. We are not in for a short-term partnership, that's for sure.
Okay.
A lot of clients who are still with us worked with us for the last 6-7 years.
I see.
And that's because we are very relationship-driven. Relationship is very important. And that's one of the key components in PR. It is just not about the dollars and cents. I always tell people, tomorrow if you terminate our services, when I see you by the roadside, we should at least have a cup of coffee.
Yes.
So I'm very relationship driven. We are very driven in terms of media relationship, which is that's one of our forte. We are very media relationship friendly. We are not, I would say, assing to the media people in this country.
Sorry if I ask this question.
Sure.
I may sound a bit naive, but who are your clients? Do you look for your clients, or the clients look for you?
Well, there are two forms.
Okay.
Firstly, at times we are invited for pitching, which we go in with other agencies. Sometimes we get invitation by the big boys, the big agencies that are based in other parts of the world. They have a client in Malaysia. Are you keen to do this with us? And right now we have just signed a contract with an agency in Bangkok and in India. So we are expanding. We are looking at Southeast Asia as well. We have done work from just not football, from sports. To sepak takraw. Now, especially the new project we're working on is Merdeka Tournament, which is Malaysia's oldest football event. Started in 1957. For the last 6 years, it's not been happening. So we have come on board with our partners, Astro and Pro Events, and we want to revive this tournament. We want to make it glamorous as possible. So we are doing it in Kuantan this year. So we have clients both from retainer and also on project. And well, it works well for us. I truly believe that once you've done a good job, people will look for you. People will know in the industry who can get it done.
Yes.
And so far, a lot of times that we have come is through recommendations. I've never really gone out and pitched for a job. I've never so far. In the last 4 years, I've never done pitching.
Well, your company should have been proud.
Yeah, I mean, I always say that it's important to remain humble, because it's a very competitive business. It's important to stay really solidly in your foundation. Never forget where you came from. I think and I always tell my staff, you're only as good as your last run yesterday, because today is a brand new day. And
someone's very close to me once told me the same thing.
Yeah, it's actually a quote from all journalists lah.
Alright, okay. Raj, when you mentioned about Jerry Maguire and stuff like, and PR is not just about handling events, but sometimes when it comes to critical situations, that's where you guys come in hand. Do you guys have ever encountered such events where you guys have to, and to what extent is your intervention? In
all my years, 15 years in the industry, I've never come across a 100% perfect event. You could have done 98%, you could have done 99.9%, but there is no such thing as 100%. Even in the World Cup, people make mistakes. Even in a world concert, mistake takes place. Even it's a small 0.1, it is still a mistake, or an error, people might say. So we really, every event, like when we're doing the Chelsea tour, we had a crisis plan in place in case something were to happen. Let's say certain media quarters were not happy about certain things. How do we approach it? So there is a plan in place. We spend a lot of time preparing these manuals. and also briefing the staff, so everybody in the office is fully aware how do you execute this plan. But so far, I must say, in the last 5 years, we never really had a crisis at this point in time. Maybe we have stopped certain quarters from becoming a crisis. That means, like I always say, in football especially, we always use the term defending is an art of attacking as well. So at times we attack quite well, at times we need to defend very well. So I guess those times we have defended quite well, and instead of moving to getting a goal scored.
Hey, impressive. Right, last but not least, what is your hope for the future of public relations in sports industry?
I would definitely, I mean, right now we are thinking of organizing an Asian summit for international conference for sports PR, sports practitioners. We are looking at inviting speakers, athletes, who had both athlete and that personality, who are able to carry the brand so well. The industry is great. What we need is a committee really to drive this industry, because we get interns from universities, colleges who are doing sports science, sports management. Every year I get 5-6 interns coming through the system, and I'm happy to train them. I'm happy to share with them. I'm happy to train them. But we need to create a platform for these students, especially because what do you do next?
Yeah.
So so we are in discussion with relevant parties, trying to create a platform to use these people and give them the necessary exposure and try to get them a relevant job in the industry that you're practicing.
Belas dari itu saja masih yang kita ada di Bisnes Alternatif. Sebelum saya Aida kata kita lihat dalam berikut ini.